Hello and welcome. I hope that you're all doing well. In this video, we're going to talk a bit about joins in MySQL to get a better understanding of how we can combine together tables that have relationships with each other. So let's take a look at that. So one thing that you might notice when you're taking a look at the tables that we have right now is that when we take a look at our products table and our orders table, the orders table is rather scarce in terms of the details that it has. It doesn't tell you anything about the product that's been ordered, but it has the product ID there. And you could go over to the products table and you could use that to be able to see that information, right? So I could go over to the products table and I could see product ID 1 is this product here, but it's really annoying to have to go back and forth over and over like that. So we need to come up with a solution for how we can make these things more visible and easier to work with. Now, there are a few different options that exist for us. One of the more simple options would be, well, why don't we just add all of the product information into the orders table? Like, why don't we just write it in here as additional columns? And the reason why this is not necessarily a good idea is because it would duplicate the information, right? The information would then be in orders and products. If we ever made a change to one of the products, we'd have to change it in both of the tables, and that becomes very complicated to manage as the database grows bigger. So then another idea would be, well, why didn't we just have one big table that stored everything in it? And again, this would create duplicates because for every single order, we would have to duplicate the products multiple times. And that just creates a lot more storage space usage and a lot less efficiency. So that's not a good solution either. What we're going to do instead is we're going to take a look at something called joining tables together. And this is the reason why we created this primary foreign key relationship, is to be able to effectively join these tables with each other. So let's discuss how we can do that. We're going to go into SQL, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select data from the products and orders table. So what I'm going to start is I'm going to start by saying select star from orders. And then I'm going to do something called an inner join. I'm going to say inner join products. What an inner join does is it finds all of the records that are the same between orders and products based on some sort of condition. And that condition is specified using on. So we say on products.product ID equals orders.order ID. So what this is saying is it's saying find all of the records between the products and orders table where the products ID equals the orders. Oh, sorry, this should be products ID as well. I want them to be the same, right? So we want to see where the products product ID equals the orders product ID. So where these are the same, we're going to join these records together. And where they're not the same, we're just going to ignore them. And this would be the idea of what this query is doing. And when I run this query, it's going to make more sense. What you'll see is that when the product IDs are the same, they're matched up with each other. So you can see that now we get all of the information from products that matches the product ID, right? So you can see the way that this join is working. It's pairing up all of the records that have the same product ID and displaying all of the product information associated with them. This solves the problem of the orders table not having enough information. We can now just run a simple query to join those two tables together with each other. And that gives us the information that matches, with the product ID. So the product IDs are the same, which means that they are matched together. So this is the way that a join works. It joins two tables together based on a specific condition. And we could have multiple conditions. We could do product ID equals, orders.product ID and then we could specify another one. We could still do those same sort of things as what we do with the where clause, right? So it works in that sort of same way. So this sort of join is very useful for getting all of the records that are the same between two tables. Now, this isn't the only type of join that exists in SQL. There are other types of joins that will do other similar types of things. So one of the most common ones that we have is a left and a right join. What a left join does is it gets everything from the orders table and then joins in all of the products that match the product ID. What this is useful for is it's useful for situations where you have more orders than products, and an order might not have a product associated with it. That's where a left join comes in useful. It's when you have more things in the orders than you do in the products. So, every order doesn't have a product ID. Would be when to use a left join. A right join is a similar concept, but in the other way. It takes the table on the right-hand side, in this case, products, and it gets all of the products, and then it joins in the orders values where it can, based on the product ID. So it'll match those up based on the ones that are similar to each other. And this is sort of the general idea behind these different types of joins. So I'm really just giving you a high level idea of what a join really is. I just want you to understand the fact that we can combine these tables together in order to get the data between the two tables that are the same. And with this, you now have a pretty good understanding of the very fundamentals of relational databases. Now you should feel relatively comfortable with creating tables, adding data, understanding the idea of the keys and the ways that we can join them together. And this gets you up and running with MySQL databases and being able to sort of expand your knowledge further with a solid foundation. So thank you for watching this video. And in the next video, we're going to start to take a look at non-relational databases using MongoDB with Node. So we're going to sort of combine things and see how we can work with databases in a web application using Node as an example with a non-relational database.